Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. I'm Cindy Cochran, and along with Richard Schischler, you know, when you say his last name, you want to be totally sober, or people will think something's wrong. That name sounds like I'm making it up, and I'm trying to sound sober. Schischler. So, do you have to spell your name every time you give your name?
What do you mean?
I'm not.
Like when I introduce myself? They're asking me how to spell my last
name? If you're
name?
filling out a form, or somebody says filling out a form for you, and they'll say, okay, what's your last name?
Yeah.
And you go,
Schischler. Yeah.
And you have to spell it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to do that with Cochran. That's weird. See, that's why I loved whenever we lived close to Conroe, is because there's so many Cochrans here.
That's true.
And the Cochran house.
Yeah, I mean, my main issue is when I introduce myself as Dick, they do a double take, or they think I say Nick. So.
No, I think it's because the way you pronounce it.
Dick?
I mean, with how you, whenever I would say, this is, and you would say your name, because I'm not going to say your, Richard is better than your
all right.
short name.
That's fine with me.
So.
You can believe that.
Well, it's just, it's hard to say. It's hard to say that other name. And I think it's because my age, because, when.
Or you're just a prude.
No, when I was younger, they would say in very disparaging terms. I mean, it's what it.
Yeah, but a lot of people were named Dick when you were horse and buggy time.
Well, horse and buggy time. Richard Nixon was,
Yeah.
They called him. Yeah. So, anyway, well, you had a great weekend, didn't you?
I've had a great couple of weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I've been out and about. I feel like I've been here 4 days out of the last 2 weeks. And I didn't even plan it that way. It was just on the books, and I realized, like, oh, man, I'm going to be gone for a while.
And, last Tuesday, I was sitting out there
when you
calling you.
Someone told me that you showed up, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure.
See, I just said, you said, don't have Chris come on that Thursday, because I'm going to
be gone that week.
Yeah, I guess you said I'm going to be gone that week, or that Thursday.
And I don't feel bad about it at all.
I knew you weren't sitting there going, I'm so sorry, Cindy. I didn't mean not to.
Well, I didn't even know you showed up here. You just texted me at like 1 o'clock, an hour before your show, and I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Like I told you, we're not going to be there.
Well, because it's summertime, the kids aren't in school.
Yeah.
And so I get the car, but no one wants me
to drive. At least
you
get out of the house.
But
yeah, I wouldn't. I don't want you to drive.
Shut up. They won't let me drive, so they've been especially Chad. He's been having to drive me.
Did he drive you around? Did he drive you that day? He's like, Dick didn't even show up.
He'll call me and say, okay, what do you need to do today?
That's
and I'll tell him. I said, but I can drive there. And he said, yeah, but you can't get out of your car, and you can't walk.
And you can't park.
Anything. If you're going to do drive-through all day, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't. So it's just, he's so sweet.
But yeah.
Sometimes he goes.
You got anything exciting happen while I was gone? Did you go see any good movies?
I went and saw Superman.
Oh, cool.
And that was, that guy is so good looking.
Well, Superman's supposed to be good looking.
yeah, but I think he gave Christopher Reeve a real run for his money. He was, and
Is that
it was it was a lot of action,
yeah?
and seems like they had more characters.
I always wondered, like if you think about filming the original Superman movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then you think about the one that you just watched, how much the actors are actually being filmed themselves, and then how they know what's going to be in the movie. Mainly because it's like all the action shots, I imagine they're not doing any of that stuff.
Oh,
It's like, hey, this whole sequence, the only thing we need you to do is land. We're going to film you land.
Yeah.
And so you're the actor going like, all right, so this 6-minute action scene, all I'm doing is landing? Like, what else goes on during this process?
Well, they
you know what I'm talking about?
They take this real big, gigantic guy.
Yeah.
It's one of the enemies. He grabs him and takes him and smashes his head with this concrete. It was a very good way. They did it really. Made it look very realistic. And so he really gets beat up a lot in this one. And
Superman gets beat up a lot.
You're always wondering how they're going to get out of it, because that just seemed that they threw him so hard, and he just he crumpled, he collapsed and stuff.
Yeah, I always wondered that about Superman's powers, because I know he gets re-energized by the sun. I know that from the comics. But the thing that I never fully understood was, so if he's outside all day, say for a 24-hour period, is he more powerful than he was 24 hours ago? Or does he have like a fuel tank?
A solar panel on his
Well,
back?
no, does he have a fuel tank, and when it gets low, he just needs to be out in the sun? Because you see,
I didn't know that.
they
talk about that.
Yeah,
in
and
this movie.
well, not even that, but then always at one point in the movie, he overcomes like his biggest adversary, and I'm like, well, if he was just as strong at the beginning, why is he able to do it like it's nothing now? But he's having such a struggle getting there. Is that because it's like he's not really like a complex superpower? It's like he's just really strong and he can fly.
Well, they throw him in this jail,
or whatever, yeah.
And you can tell it's pretty funny about them trying to sneak in the the political side of what's going on. Today.
I don't think it's today. I think because I know the story, and I'm like, all right, well, they're gonna do because they change that story up all the time.
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing back. Oh, when was it? I don't know. It might have been the Christopher Reeve's version where he was an American.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to be an American, he can't be an alien. So like they changed the way the origin story where the parents didn't put a baby in the pod. It was like when the pod arrives, he's born. So that way, it's like he was born when he landed, so that made him American.
But he was already they put him in the pod.
Well,
so
like no different. There's different story. Like they changed the story for one of the movies. I forget which one it was, but it's kind of funny. I'm like, because it was during that time where they were trying to be all pro-American and everything.
Right.
So I was like, all right, that's one way to do it. Like he was just born right when the pod opened, and so
he crawls out of that pod. That was a very interesting part about Marlon Brando was so good as his dad, and it was on the first one.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting how they built that up. I was watching kind of they had all of them on there because of the new one opening, and so I was watching the beginning of the very first one, and it wasn't the very first one because I watched Superman all through the 50s,
yeah.
And this was the very beginning, and all the political stuff that he was going through, Marlon Brando was going through and fighting and trying to tell them that this is going to happen.
The planet's going to happen. The planet's going to blow up.
Yeah, y'all are all dead, and no one would believe him, So, and which is really interesting because growing up, we had alerts so many times that people said the Earth is going to be gone today at 12, and then that whistle would blow at 12 for the lunchtime, and everybody thought that's what we thought was it's coming. So people would start getting under their their
desk and all that stuff,
their chairs in the
closets,
and and you got to the hallway. We always go into the hallway, and that to me that was so weird because they thought that was a stronger place to be is lined up against those walls. Doesn't seem like it would be. And then the little desks that we had, they thought that would cover us. And then we saw the video of what an atomic explosion would be like, and I thought, you've been lying to us, because that wouldn't help us at all to have to get under that little desk. So it was interesting. And then when Superman came along, and everybody was trying to jump off their roof, including me, intended that to see if it would hold you up. The cape would hold you up, and then somebody said, "You know what we need? We need an umbrella, and then we can jump off the roof." And somebody try and jump off the roof of their house and break their leg. And I never did that. I would jump off my couch and just see what it'd be like to fly for a minute, because you have this umbrella holding you up. So that's way back when, in the 50s, late 40s, 50s.
And now he's
early
back.
50s.
So you enjoyed the movie or
It
not?
was no.
Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Because I saw a movie. I saw The Life of Chuck.
You what?
The Life of Chuck.
Life of Chuck. What's that?
It's a movie.
Chuck. Oh, Chucky.
No.
It's not that.
Don't worry about it. It's terrible.
Is it a porn movie? What are you talking about? The Life of Chuck.
It's a Stephen King short story, and it was I can't explain it to anybody because it's just one of those movies that you thought it was going to be a lot more, but then it was just like, oh, live life to the fullest. That was the ending message, and I was like, okay.
Oh, it was depressing?
No, I mean, yeah, it kind of was, but then it was just like they tried. Oh man, I forgot who directed it. It was the guy, Mike Flanagan. He's a pretty good director. But yeah, I didn't. It was just so depressing, like how bad it was. It wasn't a depressing movie. It was just like, where's this going? Like, where is there going to be like a great twist to it where, this guy's actually stuck in space and he's daydreaming or something? But no, it's just about a guy who. Had a kind of a bad childhood, and
if you liked the Superman series and stuff, they keep trying to touch on what had been in other movies, or like the first movie, but it didn't. I don't remember. I don't even think, did they kiss? I don't know if he and what's her face kissed.
They probably did. Probably did that floaty kiss. They always had that.
I think it was a silhouette. They were just a silhouette, and I think they may have kissed. Yeah, because
but the thing that I don't get is how is the Superman story going to be entertaining outside the action? I always wondered that, because it's kind of like, unless they're doing some major building where there's going to be a bunch of different characters, and I know they have a bunch of different characters in this one, which is great.
Yes.
Because a movie with just Superman sounds really boring to me. Like just Superman.
Well, the 50 series was so much fun to watch because we had nothing like that. I mean, there was nothing
that's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Today, everything's CGI, so you can practically do anything.
Yeah, all the stuff
and then
that
it's
you
like,
see.
how do you make this good?
But what they couldn't get over is they kept carrying over the way they acted, and the way they talked to each other, and the way that he'd do his glasses, and and that kind of thing. It was like they were pulling from the 50s, not the 50s, but the first one, and trying to recreate those personalities. And that I didn't think that was a good idea, because this guy was so good looking. And she said, wait, because his glasses broke or something. And she said, so you think no one's going to recognize you? He said, no, because that was always the thing. Is that I couldn't, as a kid, I was like a little kid watching these things, black and white. And saying, "Do they really think so? No one would recognize if you take your glasses off, then you're totally somebody else." So it was just. I mean, did you notice that? You wouldn't. You're too young to.
Well, I think there's a way to be like to be okay with it, just because you don't see Superman every day.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see Clark Kent every day, and then you see Superman once, you might have like a double take. But then again, he looks like an average dude.
Well, it was funny because when he got really mad and he takes off, and he pulls his suit off, and he's in his Superman thing, and then he's flying, and he's really angry. And the more angry and the faster he flies, the more bulk he gets, the more bulk muscle he got. I'd never seen that happen before because
that's because he's in the sun.
Yeah, and he has to have the yellow sun. The yellow.
Again, that was one thing I didn't. I don't understand.
I'd never heard that before.
And then I didn't understand the child abuse he had, because if you think about it, all he wanted to do is be Clark Kent. But like his parents were like, "No, you're better than that. You're better than Clark. You're Superman."
Yes.
And he doesn't want to be Superman. Do you think he wants to be Superman? He'd rather be Clark Kent.
No, remember in the first one, because he wanted to be on the football team or the track team.
Yeah, like you can't do that.
And they kept saying you can't win.
Yeah,
and
you're Superman.
And that's not, that was so frustrating for him.
He just want to be Clark Kent.
Well, they found the guy that they
That's
should.
good.
Because I went with Christy, and so I asked Christy, I said, "So what was your favorite part of the movie?" She goes, "Him."
Oh, God.
And I went, "Okay, I
It's one of
understand."
those.
Well, he's hard not to.
Nothing wrong with that for you. You get some eye candy now. Now you're probably going to go on Facebook and look at some eye candy.
No, I'm not. No, I didn't. It wasn't not like that, but it was. But you know what I do? It just drives my kids absolutely crazy. I go to Panera and go do the drive-thru every time. There's this one guy that works there. He has red hair. Now, red hair's never been like on a guy really that attractive. Growing up, I didn't like red-haired guys.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so this guy, he sticks his head through the window and says, "Can I help you, ma'am?" And he is the cutest guy I've ever seen with red hair. He is.
Did you tell him that?
Huh?
Did you tell him that? Like, you're one of the cutest guys I've ever seen with red hair.
No, I said, "You are going to be my redheaded boyfriend because when I come to Panera."
That doesn't make him feel awkward at all.
No, and
I get accosted all the time by the seniors at the no taps, and that's the funniest thing.
That's what I mean. I felt like the bowling alley old lady. But I told him, I said, "Man, you need to be a model because," and that sounds like some creepy guy that would talking to a girl say, "Yeah, you need to be a model."
Stay in your lane, Cindy.
Stay in my lane.
50 or older.
No, but they love the way I tip. No,
Who doesn't?
And he can write that off because he doesn't have to pay taxes on tips anymore.
I don't know if that's I don't think that goes into effect till
he
like,
just signed off on it. And
yeah, I don't know if it goes into effect until September, isn't it, or something like that, or I don't think it's the day of. I don't think it's the day of.
No, well, the bill passed, so when taxes comes around next April,
I think it's for the next year.
We're going to have Carolyn here.
Yeah.
On the 24th.
That'd be a good question for her.
So we're going to talk about how. I feel so sorry for her because they've changed so much.
Speaking of that, that was one of the funniest things. I went to Baton Rouge for a bowling tournament, and they kept wanting my social security number. And growing up how I grew up, I'm like, well, why do I have to give you my social security number? And what I found out was for tax reasons, if you win, because you can gamble on yourself. On brackets and do these little side pots for your score. And apparently, even if you win like $5, you got to fill out a tax form.
We gotta ask Carolyn about that. That
was
awesome.
Really funny to me.
Yeah.
I was like, then I'm not interested. Like, I don't. If I don't have to fill out paperwork, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if I have to fill out paperwork,
that
even happened at the casino with my buddy Kurt. He got so frustrated with me because he's like, "This is your first time here. You can sign up. You get all this money." Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Wait, I have to sign up." I'm not really that interested in it. And he's like, you get free money, like you go. I'm like, I get it, man, but I don't want to sign up for anything, and like I don't understand it, and I'm just happy to be here. I don't want to sign up for anything.
I'm just happy to be here. I understand. When I want to pay my bills with a card, I want to do the auto pay, and so when I talked to him, I said, I need to sign up for auto pay, and so they said, okay, I'm going to send you over to our AI person who talks to you,
and then they want your credit card,
and so and then they send me back a notice that says thank you for paying your. And I said, that's perfect. Then I come across like the Mud District. No. We don't do that. We don't do auto pay because it's too variable to what we have to charge you. So we don't know if you're going to faint if you found out what you really owe. And so I said, well, so what do I do? Well, you call this number, and then they'll send you a form, and you fill out that form, and send that back in, and then we'll.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm just too lazy, I think, to even try to do that because I know I'll fail trying to get to them and filling out the form.
Yeah,
and
being an adult is hard, isn't it? Being held accountable and.
It is so. That's the only downside to being old is because. But Chad has had it with me. Chad has had it with me, and so after this last scam that I had, he said, "I'm taking over your bills. I'm going to pay your bills because I got to watch the bank accounts to make sure."
I know. I get it.
I am scared to death of what he's going. He's going to be watching everything that I do and that I spend, and I don't spend a lot, but I DoorDash. And he said, he's sitting there. We had a meeting with Chris, and he's sitting there and he's adding up all the stuff that says DoorDash on it. And finally, he just takes the phone and puts it like that. And he said, y'all won't believe this. This is how much they spend on DoorDash. So he told him. And he went, oh, well, for a month, that's not bad. And he goes, I'm talking about every day. That's what they spend every day. He said every day. So they were making fun of me and saying, you can't do that because it was ridiculous. Yeah. But he's going to end up being the business manager, and we'll never see him again, because I just don't know if it's going to work. I don't want our family to be split because of money or anything.
Well, I mean, that's the downside of having families.
No.
You should have just been single all your entire life. You wouldn't have to deal with this. Except that you wouldn't pay your bills still. I mean, or hopefully you would have learned how to pay your bills.
That's the worst. That's the worst part. And that's why Sam immediately, my husband, Sam, went to, you're going to have your own checking account. And don't you touch mine. You're not going to write checks off mine and all that. He said, because I there's no way I can trust you doing that right. And I went, okay, but he shouldn't have married a teenager. I was only 19. And so that's on him. He was 27.
Really? It's his problem?
It's his problem.
That's why I love relationships. Like, it's your problem.
I don't have anybody to blame now or get mad or anything. He didn't have anybody to blame now. See, that was the thing, is that he always said, Cindy, come here. What did you spend on this? What is this? I don't even understand what this is. Yeah. No, I'll take care of it. I will pay it off. Don't worry. No, I am bad about that though. I will confess that I am. I'm bad. I don't want to be, and I try to make sure I pay the bills for the necessary things like electricity and water, and because I don't want them to turn that off. That would be embarrassing. That happened one time because I thought they were on auto pay and they weren't, and so. But they didn't come back and say, "Hey, you're building up a really big over what you're going to have to pay, what's due," and so. But I did it. I paid. This is terrible. You get behind a mic sometime, and you don't realize that you're confessing so many things that you don't want your family to know.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and if I'm seeing you laughing, and I'm going like, I don't think Chad's probably laughing now, or Christy and them. But when Carolyn comes, my sister is a CPA and she's a partner in a big firm in Lubbock, And they have a lot of rich people in Lubbock. You know that.
Down doubt it used to be an oil. It's still an
Yeah.
oil town. It's still an oil town. It's right next to an oil town. So it's like
She has so many interesting stories about the people that she has, that comes to her, and she helps them through stuff. And Sam would send his buddies to her because she's so good,
yeah.
and that she goes through and she knows this stuff
Well,
so well.
one thing I love about that is that it tells me there was a great upbringing in your house because you're so different from your sister.
Wait, and what? Are you? Is that a good?
You already admitted it. You're not really good at paying bills. I highly doubt your sister's bad at paying bills.
Oh no. Not.
So that's what I'm saying. I enjoy
No.
that aspect of your family. It's like you got you and then you got her.
Well, she always. We are so. We admire each other so much. I've never been jealous of my sister ever because she's so smart, and she could sew her Easter dress the night before and do that kind
What
of
could
stuff.
you do?
I would sing, and I would draw
Oh,
pictures.
so you're just the pretty one.
Write.
You're the pretty one.
Yeah, and write songs. But Carolyn would always say, Mom and Dad are so proud of you because they brag to all
Yeah.
their friends that you're on this and you've done this and all that. And I said, but Carolyn, you are the one that they hold up in such honor because how smart you are and how, left brain you are. She said, that's true. I am totally left brain because I try and think of if I could ever be like you in any way. And I can't. I totally dismiss it from my head because, right brain people are just creative, and that's what they like to do. They're not real good about being, chained to like fashion or money concerns.
Everyone's different.
They are, but now would you rather be married to someone like Carolyn, who takes care of all the business stuff? She's so smart, and or someone that is fun and that enjoys life and that is more creative and no,
I'd rather not be married
at all.
at
Well, that's
all.
probably the smartest thing then.
Yeah.
Was because Sam had it all. He was talented and he was smart and he took care of everything. He was just like the steady
Yeah.
Eddie and all that. But he still had that artistic side. So that's
good.
That's good. Anyway, so back to Fox News. Fox News has come out
They're
with
still in the air?
yes, they are. But the stock market has done great. Everything is going well.
Oh, here
The
we
big,
go.
beautiful bill passed, and and I love listening to them. I go to sleep. I just want to hear their voices. It doesn't put me to sleep, but it's just I know that everything's good with the world because Fox News is on reporting everything that's happening right there, and I feel so bad for you because you never listen to it. You don't
I've been
really-
out of pocket for like 2 weeks, so I haven't.
You didn't
I've
even know
had
what's
no
going
idea
on.
what's going on. And doesn't mean I still have an idea.
You know about the flood.
Yeah, my
Okay.
the camp I went to was affected by it. My sister's camp was Camp Mystic. My niece went to Camp Mystic. My nephew
Oh.
was there, but he left that day to go pick up a scholarship in Dallas because he was a counselor, and then he was coming back because the campers arrived. I want to say on like the 3rd or 2nd, and
That sounds right. Yeah.
and he was gone for a couple of days, and then he was coming back. My other nephew just left the camp, like June 27th or 28th, because he was part of the June term.
Well, you know where
So I know-
Bandera is and Bandina,
Yeah.
the Camp Bandina. Do you know anything about Camp Bandina? Because you went to those Christian colleges. I thought you may know that, but that's right.
Well, there's like
That's right
20
off
something
the
camps.
Guadalupe.
Yeah, there's like,
Yeah, and so that's where my grandkids all went to. Camp was there, and I went to go teach sign language classes. And when I didn't teach a sign language class, I told the camp guy, I said, "Listen, I'm going to go tubing down the Guadalupe. And then he said, okay, but the water's low, so you got to be careful. And I said, low? What do you mean? And he says, well, it's not like if you're not going to go real fast because it's low. And he was so right because I kept dragging my feet.
Oh, yeah, it's a low river.
No, well, but they say it does rise sometimes,
Yeah.
it can get. But that was so peaceful. Have you tubed? I'm sure you should.
Hell yeah, I've tubed.
You
Yeah, I'm a
tubed?
tuber.
You're a tuber? Did you go down the Guadalupe?
Yeah, I went on camp. My camp was on the Guadalupe.
I know, but did they get in that water? Or
Yeah.
Okay, because they went canoeing at Bandina's camp, and it was like a big lake that was inside the camp.
Yeah.
They didn't go outside and go down that river or anything like that.
We were on the river and we had a little lake at the end of it.
You did. Well, it's a shame so many people. It's so expensive. Do you remember your parents complaining about how much it cost to send y'all to camp?
Well, I think it really came down to if you enjoyed it or not.
Yeah.
Because I went there for 9 years. So, I enjoyed it. My other brother did not, but my two older brothers, they are still, one of my brothers is still friends with all of his buddies from
that
camp.
they went to camp with. Oh.
And he helps out with the owner, with the horses. Because it's a cowboy camp.
Yeah.
And the horses on the off season need to leave basically the camp and go graze. So he helps. There's some land out in Liberty that his neighbor, part of the camp, would let the horses, all 80, 100 horses, just hang out. And so I went there a couple of times to help them unload the horses and do all that kind of stuff.
Oh, fun.
And then, yeah.
I'll tell you, the camp is great for. Now, when you came back from camp, was yours? Did y'all have? It was kind of a spiritual camp. It was based on.
I mean, I want to
Christian
say
camp.
I want to say the core of it was Christianity, but also they were on Sundays we would have, you can go to any church. So we had Jewish
okay.
kids.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if we had any Muslims. I don't think we might have, but I don't really remember because I remember going to the Jewish one a couple times with my buddies. But then again, it's 30 minutes and you're trying to deal with kids. It really wasn't like a church. I know it was just part of the schedule because that camp was really big about schedules.
Did you have chapel and
Not every day. No, that was only on Sundays.
only on Sundays?
Yeah, only on Sundays.
Wow.
Because we were doing other stuff.
They
But I mean, I remember the core value being a Christian core value. I remember that. But it wasn't like everyone had a Bible and we had to do stuff. We were supposed to get outside and get into some trouble. I think my favorite memories of camp is I had a record of 5 years in a row getting injured right at the end of the term. So it was severe enough to where I couldn't participate, but it was close enough to the end where my parents didn't have to come get me immediately.
Oh, they didn't have to take you into town?
Well, they took me into town a couple times for the hospital. But it was,
Sure.
but still, it was they're like, do you want your parents to come get you now? I'm like, no, I want to stay for the closing ceremonies and all that kind of stuff. So there was a couple times I was on crutches, and then, yeah, one of my favorite ones is I fell off a dirt bike, flew in the air, probably 10 feet, and opened my knee up. So my whole knee was exposed from my shin up to.
You could see the bone or just a muscle?
You could see the kneecap, and you could see it was just shredded.
Ugh.
So that was really cool. And then one year I fractured several ribs, so I had that. And then another year I remember I either got bit by a tick. It was something that bit me, and basically I was in the infirmary for 2.5 days, and I had to get
Is it
IV.
brown recluse?
Something bit me. I don't really remember because I was out of it. And then so that was fun. And then another year I got blisters on my feet that were so big. One was big as a silver dollar. And so I couldn't use that foot for a couple of days.
So you hopped around?
And it was always at the end where, but my parents always hated that. because they're like, "What are you doing here? Why are you always getting in trouble at the end of camp? You can't just survive until the last like 5 days." But the knee one was probably the biggest one that happened because my brother, he got a peg through his leg one year. So we had a great picture. I don't know if we can ever find it. Like, I asked my mom to find it recently because he was on crutches when they came up. So and I was on crutches when they came up.
Oh,
and
both
so
y'all?
the pictures were really, really great.
Well,
It's
did
like-
y'all have speakers at your camp?
What do you mean, speakers?
People that came in and did talks for you?
No, we had like
Class? You have classes?
we had experts that came in. Like we had a bunch of, like for example, for the riflery classes, we had people
Oh,
that come in and
yeah.
would teach us how to clean guns and like what, how do they make guns and things like that. And then we like for the fishing classes, we had guys that come in and taught us how to do tie a fly and go fly fishing, how to do your own reel, what to do in survival, and we had like survival training and all that kind of stuff. The coolest one I thought was one year, one of the buddies of the owners had his own plane, and we'd sign up, and if we got drawn, we could go. He'll teach us how to fly for the day,
And you got to fly.
and I got to fly,
Wow.
so that was really cool. And then I'm trying to think of what other experts or I wouldn't necessarily call them speakers, but there were one day I just hung out with a bunch of old dudes making fly ties, and they were showing us all the techniques and how goofy those dudes were. Goofy.
Well, it was the time I had been doing touring and speaking on positive thinking. It was that time of, you remember
You
when
mean the
positive
hippie time? You mean the hippie time?
Yeah, the positive
The
thinking.
hippie time.
No, that was in the 70s. 70s.
Oh.
But anyway, so they said, "Would you come speak to the girls?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Can I do some other stuff with that, during that time?" And they said, "Yeah, whatever." I said, "Okay, I'd like to interview Satan. So would that be cool?" And he went, "Who are you gonna?" Well, we're just gonna hear his voice, and I'm gonna have to audition some people for their voice, and then they're gonna be behind. All we hear is a speaker, so everybody can write questions to Satan, and then we'll let him answer it.
This sounds like a weird camp.
But but anyway, so but speaking to the girls, I came out and I went, "Okay, this ain't gonna be a thing like, you know what you should be? You should be like this." And I said, "I want to tell you something. Girls are horrible. They're just, you girls, especially at the age you are, y'all are terrible because all you want to do is complain, and that's your identity is you're complaining all the time, and so and no one wants to be around you." And so if people say, "Oh, you're so funny," honey, they're lying because they don't like the way that you complain. And all you girls do this, and you just push people away. And so this is what you need to be. So anyway, I go through that, and one of the guys said, "I was listening to your talk, and the looks on the girls' faces when you were saying, you were talking about how bad they are and why they act like that, and all they want is the attention, and because they're complaining or they're crying all the time, and they're so upset and so miserable." And so he said, "You think that's a good way to start out a talk?" I said, "It doesn't matter, because the point is I'm going to get to the end and to talk about it's so easy to fix all that stuff, and you can be a better person. More people like you, really like you. You really be liked." And so it was so much fun because these kids, they're out of control now, because you go in and try and do a talk to kids, and they're so disrespectful. So many of them are so disrespectful, and because they just don't want to hear it. They get. I think it's because parents lecture their kids all the time, and they don't want to be lectured to. They just want to be, understanding.
I can't believe you would generalize women in such a
What?
mean way. Generalizing the women in such a mean way.
But it's the truth, and all I have to do is look you in your left eye, and I know that that's the truth. That women complain, and they that's how they get attention, and and it's the
Yeah.
wrong kind of attention.
I don't hear complaining anymore.
Well,
It's-
okay,
I don't-
you knew how to get rid of
I
it.
know how to, I know how to
Okay.
get rid of that.
But
what's funny about like because I was an all guys camp, all boys camp, and we never had any problems.
of course not. No, y'all
But-
just worried about when's the next, baseball game going to happen, or when
Yeah.
can y'all go play basketball and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but girls are just constantly
Yeah.
talking about. I said, all right, everybody, raise your hand if last night when you were in your cabin, y'all weren't gossiping about the girls in the other cabin. Go ahead, right, and talking bad about. And they do, and that's. And I said, I understand that because I realized how bad I was about gossiping when I was at work. I was like 17 years old, 18 years old. I was working, and my girlfriend and I were so bad about gossiping about people. And so I said, we've got to quit this. This is not being a Christian, and this is not what God wants. So we're not going to be able to gossip on the way home from work. And she goes, we're not going to. We can't gossip at all. I said, no, we're not going to gossip at all, okay? We just got to think about other things to talk about. And we had the quietest rides home because we could not think of anything else except crummy things to talk about people. But that's how women are. And I would sit in the groups at lunch at Southwestern Bell, and everybody would be eating and saying horrible things about the people that would leave, like Joe and John left, and so they said, you know what that guy did, and then the girls would leave it. Can you believe she wore that today? It makes her look so fat. What's wrong? And so they said, Cindy, isn't your break time about up? And I went, I ain't leaving there until all of y'all leave and we all leave together, because I've seen what you do. You tear people apart before they get out the door. And they went,
Yeah, but why do you let that bother you?
because it makes them look so bad. It makes a woman look so bad, and it's just very weak. They should be supportive of women,
Yeah.
and not believe that trans men should play in their sports.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are going to talk like that all the time, so you just let them do it, and does it change anything?
But gossiping is really, it's terrible.
Well, I think
Terribly addicting.
I think it's not necessarily gossip; it's the rumors that happen. Because you can gossip about stuff, but then if it causes people to change their perception of somebody, then it becomes a problem.
Well, of course it's going to be, unless they're doing something positive. Like, how sweet Cindy is. Cindy says the sweetest things to people.
That's
and she
gossip
tries
too.
to build them up.
That's
and
considered gossip, isn't it?
No, but I mean, it's a positive side, and it's not making them look down on me or anything. But if they said, do you know Cindy thinks she's so above it all that she doesn't have to stay in her cabin. She goes wherever she wants to go, and she, that kind of stuff, that it makes somebody look bad.
I guess. I don't know.
And I got a great story about so-and-so. But, and we don't really gossip too much about people, but there's people that are in the public eye, I think are fair game.
Yeah, but I think the sad part of it is, especially in today's terms, is that the public figures today, we don't really know what the truth is about about the gossip.
Ain't that the truth?
And it's kind of like,
that's the only truth about it, is that you don't know what the truth is.
so I'm not a big gossiper.
I know this Jeffrey Epstein thing is so funny, because you keep wondering, who are they hiding? They won't come out and share a list or something about who was going to the island and all.
Well,
that
I
stuff.
already told you my belief in that is the list. It's one of those unique items in the world that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because you might be on a list, but you might have been on the list because you just took his plane somewhere, and then like you were dropping off. Say you were planting the trees there. You're the head,
right.
guy who's in charge of the landscaping. Well, he's on the list, so he's got to be a pedophile. and I mean that when they said we're gonna release it, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really bad for a lot of people.
Oh man,
not just necessarily the guilty ones, but just the people who just happen to be there. Because
ruin their lives.
Even if it's 99% of everyone on the list was bad, that 1% is gonna be who's good. It's gonna be. Because they're like, I remember the Stephen Hawking one. He's like on the list, and I was like, that's got to be kind of fun, right?
Oh,
because he would invite all sorts of people to the
right,
island.
yeah.
So it was like, again, I don't really know if it was like for his his niece's birthday, or if it's for.
But he was building. I mean, that empire was being built on.
Well, that's what I'm trying to
all
say.
the stuff they can.
Because if
he
they
has against
if
these
they,
big shots.
well, I know, but if they release the list,
Yeah.
it's going to be a complete list of everyone, even if they're innocent, and they
Yeah.
can't just go in and investigate every single one. You know how long that would take.
Oh man.
So again, when people's shouting about the list, I'm like, yeah, if you want to ruin,
Or if he invited somebody to be on the list and they refused, where is that? Is there any receipt on that
that's
they
what I'm
didn't
saying.
go?
It's one of those weird scenarios because I mean, again, it could be 99% are all guilty. That 1% is not. Do we want to just? Does everyone need to die? Does that 1% need to be? Because they're going to get labeled no matter what you do.
Yeah. But
So-
just imagine the fear and trembling of those people that if they release that, if Pam Bondi goes,
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying. That's
here
why
it
I wouldn't release it if I was around the the 12 Angry Men. I'm like, no, don't release that. Like if there's people on there that we need to prosecute, do
Yeah.
that, but don't release the list to the public. That's insanity.
well, and he took care of a lot of the whistleblowers that were getting ready to testify and do, really harm while he was still alive, and trying to pay everybody off and trying to keep them from, coming forward. But when the Prince of
But somehow with that name got released.
Yeah, that was.
That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is
Ooh-wee.
really funny. It's almost like it's a false flag. So they don't they get us talking about it, and then we don't worry about other things. But I
Well-
don't know what the other things are to worry about either, because you could tell me anything. I'm like, I don't know if this is happening.
Right.
Like,
But I mean, the disbelief that America has against like
everything?
everything.
it's I'm
Everything.
like, what?
What I talk to so many people that they'll say the thing they say is, "Go, I don't believe anybody now." And after my scam event,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I still
I
don't believe
don't-
anybody that texts me or calls me. I'm like, I don't know this person. I mean,
Yeah.
think about the Russian thing, the collusion thing. Like that was
Right.
again, it's like the same thing. It goes on for 5 years or whatever, and it's like, oh,
right?
nothing happened. Well, how do we know nothing happened? Well, we just told you. It's been 5 years. We didn't find anything. Like, well, you said there was. Well, there's nothing happened.
That was so trashy of the
Well,
stuff
that's the same
they
thing with the
said.
Epstein deal. So it is. Again.
But so many people want to believe like the worst. They just do. I mean, that's just kind of your human instinct. Like, okay, I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure if that was, and his personality, I'm sure it happened that way. Well, that's not. You can't base it on that at all. I mean, you
Well,
shouldn't.
it's like P Diddy.
Like what?
Like P Diddy.
Yeah,
He's so guilty, but somehow he's not.
I can't believe he got away.
He didn't get away with it.
Well, I mean, he got away with it, but I can't imagine what he would try and do and build up now that he has that rap. Just
Of what? Being like abuser and
Yeah.
a rapist?
to
Like, yeah.
me that one video
Well,
should have done it all. It should have been finished. Here's a video
Of him hitting
Got
his
it?
wife.
Okay,
Oh yeah, that was
his wife. That was his girlfriend
or
Yeah.
whatever, his lady friend. But I
Yes.
mean, he nailed her.
Oh
And I'm
my
s- it was-
goodness!
that
And
was
kept
a-
kicking her,
Oh, dude, that's.
and his towel's about to fall off. And
I
he's
know.
kicking.
It's. I mean, how do you find yourself in a scenario like that?
It's the power, the money, and the he can get away with anything.
You think so? I
Of
think he would have done that even if he was a poor dude.
Well, I mean, he could have, but it just like.
I think he would have still hit a person and start kicking him with a towel on.
But he knew everybody had a price. Like everybody's got a price, and I can meet that price and get you to do whatever I want you to do. That's sad.
Yeah, but see, what's weird about that is, we got to be closing up.
Uh-oh.
What's weird about that though, it's especially when it comes to situations that you don't know the full truth. So
Right.
he might have paid these people to do it, and then they're like, "Oh, that was bad, but he paid me, but he's still a bad guy." I'm like, "Well, he
Right.
paid you,
And you accepted it,
and he accepted it,
and then you did what he said.
Yeah, and then but again, it's like kind of a muddy water thing where you don't really know the full truth to it, because there's no way that guy has been doing this for like 40 years. Kind of like the Bill Cosby thing.
Oh
The
man.
Bill Cosby thing was really wild to me because I was like, how does somebody like that with that kind of behavior over like decades and
and
nobody knows?
and fooled us. you
Not
fooled
you.
us.
I'm talking about his inner circle.
No, I'm talking about uh, overall. You built an image and you
Oh yeah,
sold that
that's.
image.
But see, I think the betrayal really is within the inner circle, because it's like, that one person who's like witnessed it goes, you shouldn't be doing that, or is that what happened? You don't really know. I mean, it's such a weird thing.
But so many people are so afraid to get on the bad side of somebody that wields a lot of power, and they can make or
I
break
don't know about that.
You know, you don't think that's right?
Well, I mean, I think in today people are quick to defend themselves now. With all the Harvey Weinsteins and all that kind of stuff, now it's like, it's not okay. Because clearly there's people who seen it happen and they're like quiet about it.
And they came forward. That's fine. I think when the whistleblowers.
That's one thing I love about the
good.
equivalent of the Ellen DeGeneres thing.
Oh yeah.
Because what she did really wasn't that bad, but it got elevated to all these
Right.
other things. It's like, oh, she's just a mean person,
Right.
and you're like, oh,
But we see
she
her
degraded people.
We see
Oh.
her. She's doing all these great things and wonderful
Yeah.
things, and then when they find out like what goes on behind the scenes, that's what. To
Yeah,
me,
but
that's always been the most interesting of all part. And when they had the reality shows, I just kept thinking, you guys, if y'all would just keep the camera running, and then play that part, what happens and what they say to each other, and what they really think and want to do to somebody, and talk about that. That'd be more fun to listen to than your scripted reality show.
Yeah.
You don't care. Okay. I love working with somebody that their IDC factor is so high that it's
no,
easy.
I care. It's just we gotta be closing the show, so I'm getting ready to do that. So I'm like,
So you want me to shut up? Okay.
yeah,
All
big
right.
It's time to shut up now.
Yeah. Cindy, shut up. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And Andrew, I hope
You'll
you
be here
enjoyed
tomorrow?
it. Will I be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Lord Wootton and the creek don't rise. Have you ever heard that saying
That's
before?
kind of too soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll be here tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, see ya. And we love you, first responders. Thank you for everything.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor.